Joanna of the Wall Street Journal is here, along with Dennis Berman of Lazard, to talk about probably more than we've discussed a $2 billion deal in a while. Joanna, why is this so interesting?
Well, this is so interesting because it's Fitbit, which has been an independent company and gone at it on its own for a number of years now. And now Google's like, it's time to gobble these guys up, and I really think go after the Apple Watch. I mean, this seems to me about the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch, or Apple smartwatch, has 51% of the market at this point. Google's Android Wear OS, you guys probably didn't even know the name of that. They've got like no market share there. So you've got Fitbit, you acquire Fitbit, you really look at this wearable space for them, and you see what happens.
And that's why I'm going to disagree with you a bit, because Apple is so far ahead here. I think that Google's got to worry about Huawei, Xiaomi, it's got to worry about Samsung in a space. I mean, Apple makes this look easy with the Apple Watch, with the AirPods and whatnot, but I think Google and others are proving that it's just not. This stuff isn't a gimme. Remember when Samsung was coming out with watches? You seen one lately? All these, the tablets that all these other
places. You don't hear about them.
Yeah, you don't hear about it. Nobody's breaking them out in their numbers as being a significant source of revenue, while quietly Apple has built this $25 billion business around wearables and home. So, I mean, Google's got to get its own Android house in order. I think that's what this is about.
Yeah, and core to that Apple Watch success has been fitness. I mean, Tim Cook was saying that on the earnings call this week. You got Fitbit here, that probably no better company, maybe Garmin, maybe some of the running companies doing a little bit of a better job in the fitness workout space, but Fitbit's the one to have. The issue with Google is really they've bought other fitness companies and wearable companies before. They bought Fossil, some tech from Fossil before. They've bought Misfit, which was a startup in the fitness space and the wearable space. Nothing came of that.
Yeah.
Dennis, it's amazing to me because all of these big cap tech companies, Google included, have come under this antitrust scrutiny. We've got these investigations playing out. A big part of it is M&A and the fact that they've been so voracious in gobbling up smaller companies. Now, I realize Google specifically is being looked at for its advertising business, not for its hardware or potential wearables business. But the fact that it would make an acquisition like this, and by the way, I think Facebook and Amazon have been making acquisitions as well, despite the scrutiny. I mean, what does it say about, I guess, how
I'd say
thinking about this?
Moving beyond any one company, looking at the overall scene of things right now, valuations for public companies, as we're seeing here, S&P at an all-time high, Nasdaq at an all-time high. This is a very opportune time to sell. Remember, we were talking about recession overall in the summer. It was coming. Remember all those headlines? It hasn't come. So, look, I think part of this is just generally speaking, it's a great time for sellers to get out there. And if there are opportunities to be had, companies would be remiss not to take them if sellers are willing to sell, given where valuations are today. So it's either sort of get on or get behind. So that's how I view it right now.
Yeah, don't worry. The DOJ is not going to find out about this. They have no idea. They're just going to slip under the radar. Yeah.
What do you think a Google-based Fitbit needs to provide to be competitive with an Apple Watch?
I mean, go back to John's argument there. It's hard to say.
Are you saying it's hopeless?
It's not hopeless. It's definitely not hopeless. But it seems to be that there's been the lag in the Android Wear space because both hardware, but also just showing a need for the software, right? Apple made a point on the Apple Watch. There were other reasons, right? It's a good watch, you can get notifications, but health and fitness were core to some of that sales. And if you again look at that market, people have come over to Apple, to the iPhone from Android because of the watch.
Yeah, the good and the bad news is that the Android and iOS ecosystems aren't really competing. If you got an iPhone, you're probably in the market for an Apple Watch. If you got an Android phone, you're in the market for something. But the ecosystem's fragmented. There's no clear place to go to get the best of that anymore. So Google can afford to bring possibly all of that together, but it's expensive to really control distribution. Do you do more retail? What do you really do?
So it's asymmetric ecosystem stickiness, right? You agree, Dennis?
I think that's a very fair point. And I have a question for the best tech reviewer out there, Ms. Stern.
Are you journal guys?
No, what's on your wrist?
My Apple Watch is dead this morning. Usually I have an Apple Watch on this wrist.
That speaks for itself.